Mr. Murali.
Decades of business experience in a variety of fields that deal with engineering goods, making one's life easier, to gifts that bring a smile on one's face, and 15 years in BNI, playing key roles in the growth of BNI in India. He and his wife Renu started the BNI Mysore region in 2011 and grew the regions to over 500 members before retiring in 2021. Currently, he is a mentor and coach and supports 25 regions in BNI India as a senior district director. He also continues to mentor national directors across the world. A fun fact about him is that a lot of members call him the BNI-pedia, a walking BNI encyclopedia, since he eats, talks, walks, and sleeps BNI and thoroughly enjoys every moment of it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a thunderous welcome to Global Master Trainer of BNI, our guest of honor today, Mr. Murali Srinivasan, all the way from India.
Wow! Wow, you're welcome.
Oh, welcome. Yeah, we have to have a dance first. Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, can we have a dance? Yes.
You guys can also join, you know. Wow, thank you very much.
Wow. I think as you do your speech, we are going to be thinking of a song. Yes? So as you exit, we are going to feel welcome and we look for your inspiration.
Thank you.
Yes. Karibu sana, as we say it in Kenya. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. You want the microphone? Or you want?
Yeah, good, okay. Thank you so much for the lovely welcome, and thank you, and very, very good morning to you, East Africa. Namaskara. Namaste. Namaste. Wonderful, great. It's absolutely awesome to be here. It's really fantastic that early in the morning I could see there's so much of energy, so much of excitement, and I must say hats off to the entire team. Thank you very much, Diana, for inviting me here to be here, and absolutely hats off to you. Fantastic. I was so proud, so happy to see the energy in the room. Fantastic. Give yourself a big hand. Fantastic. Good. I've got some slides. I think we should be having the slides up. Are they working? Are the slides, they on? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Here we're in business now. Good. So again, congratulations to every one of you. It is really a privilege and honor for me to be here. For Diana, a very close friend of mine, and thank you so much again for inviting me, Diana. And congratulations to all the the directors from East Africa and members from East Africa who are here, and members from across the world. Give yourself a big hand. Fantastic. Great to be here with so many friends. This was a dream come true for me to be here. Diana and me have been talking to each other over the last few years, I think nearly about 5 to 6 years, and we used to keep talking, one day I should be here, and for me it's really amazing to be here. Let's get started. Congratulations to all of you. This is, I'd like to start with numbers, something very interesting, what we have accomplished so far. 231 members, and what do we have? 7 chapters, and this is what I like most, the business done. Over 25 billion Uganda shillings of business done. So this is fantastic. Give yourself a big hand. All this possible because of some wonderful people. First, let's get started. Again, congratulate Diana, amazing leader. I loved the way she presented. Didn't you all like it this morning? She's amazing, fantastic. The inspiration, the passion she brings across is something fantastic. Am I right? Give her a big hand, Diana. Thank you. Thank you, Diana, for your leadership. And Diana is, of course, supported by a wonderful team. We have Eva, we have Susan. These are people whom I work with regularly. I understand that we also have Dr. Rose, who's supporting Diana, guiding her on this. And we have an entire team of support directors. If you're here, if you're part of the support director team or the DNA team, please stand. These are the members, these are the leaders who are making this happen. These are the leaders leading Uganda to the next level. So this is a quick scorecard of Uganda. Okay? Now let's talk about what next. Where do we go next for Uganda? Today's presentation is a lot about Uganda. And where do we go next? The goal, which Diana shared with me, was 1,500 referral partners, 1,500 members. Just visualize. We have this room today full. This can be a much bigger convention center. Who knows? Could be a stadium. Would you like to have that kind of conference? Fantastic, 1,500 members, and more importantly, doing 20 billion Uganda shillings. Will that be good? Fantastic. Can I show you how we can do this? Only one person wants to know? That's Muraguri. Yeah. How many of you want to know how you can make this money? I'm going to show you some simple ways on how to do this, okay? What I say is how you can be how we can be an extraordinary entrepreneur. Somebody really doing the basic things. What I love is about doing the basics brilliantly. I do not know advanced BNI. I've been a part of BNI for over 15 years now, and I have yet to learn how to do advanced BNI. I know only one form of BNI, and that's the basics of BNI. But what I understand is how we do the basics brilliantly. How many of you would like to do the basics brilliantly, BNI brilliantly? Wonderful, fantastic. That's nearly all of us here in the room. So can I show you how? I'm going to show you exactly how this can be done. These are, again, the basics, but I'm going to revisit it, and I want you to think, are we doing this? So I'm going to show you 5 things. 5 things of how we can do. These are simple day-to-day things, but how we can do. Number 1, these are things that I hear, okay? These are the common things that I hear. How many of you here, I'd like you to be honest, how many of us feel that I'm not getting enough referrals? I'm working hard, I'm not getting referrals, I'm going to meetings, I'm doing one-to-ones, I'm doing my weekly presentation, but I'm not getting referrals. Is there anybody? Some of us, we do feel, yes, not getting enough referrals. I'm going to show you how we can do this. We don't realize what we are sitting on. I've been a part of BNI for over a decade, and I've seen this actually happen. This morning, Diana was talking about it. Later, Muraguri was talking about it. It's all about building relationships. And let's look at the opportunity that we have here. Look at the opportunity. Are we really using our network? Today, the hall is full. We have so many members here. How many of you are going to walk away here with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 5 meaningful relationships that we're going to start building here? We attend a conference. I love it when we listen to the music, we dance, we take pictures, we post selfies, we put hashtags, and we enjoy it. But how much have you taken back? How many relationships are you going to continue? Okay, and that's something Diana had touched upon this morning. How one conversation, one relationship can... I first met Diana, if I'm right, at a training. And we started talking, and the way it all got started, I like to go for an early morning walk, and she used to join me for a walk. And from there started a conversation that built a relationship, and I'm here today. That's how these simple conversations, and today, in this kind of environment, is where these relationships happen. I'd like you to think, we have 231 members here, for the members here. How many of them can you think of whom you can pick up the phone and make a call at 11 p.m. at night and tell them that, look, I'm very happy that today this closed. I got this business, or I have this challenge, or I feel like sharing this. Are we building those relationships? And look at the opportunity that we have here. Okay? This is you. And inside Uganda, in Kampala, we have 231 members. Across just Middle East and Africa, I'm not looking very much further. These are places you can probably reach in a few hours. You have over 6,000 potential relationships. How many of them are we really using? We don't have to go far. We have such a big team. Even out of those 231 members sitting here in Kampala, how many of us can say I have 20 friends whom I can pick up the phone and call in the middle of the night, whom I can reach out to when I need help? I've actually done this for myself. I built these relationships. I come from a background of, I owned a gift store. I used to sell gifts. I used to sell teddy bears. I used to sell greeting cards, perfumes. I had a very limited group of friends. But today I have friends across the world. I have those relationships where I can send a text message, and within a few hours I get the help that I need, which I do. So have you built those relationships? We have Srirati here. We were talking about it this morning. What started as a simple conversation, because whenever he was a founding member of the chapter which I started. It started as a simple friendship. We used to meet over open networking, and today we are the best of friends. We're sitting here together here. It's a relationship that takes time. It builds. Are we investing time for those relationships? And when we have so many opportunities, over 6,000 across just Middle East and Africa, we have, if you include Europe, you have close to 90,000 opportunities. Each one of these is an opportunity, and of course, across the world, it's 310,000. When you look at these numbers, it may look daunting, but all we have to do is start that 1 or 2 or 3 today. When you're here today, when you leave back this evening, early in BNI, many years ago when I used to network, I used to always collect a lot of cards. But when I got back to my office, when I got back home, I would sort them out. How many of these can I put a face to this name on the card? And then we'll start beginning a relationship, send out a text message, great meeting you, and then set up a one-to-one. And from there, you never know what that leads to. And it is those conversations which we start today is going to do. So are we building those relationships? Are we, in another sense, what I'm trying to say, the very basic we are here in BNI is for networking. But am I working my network? Like how Dr. Ivan Meisner says, it's not net sit or net eat, it's network. So are we working our network today? When you leave here today, carry back at least 5 such OPUB. Can we all do that? 5 people with whom we're going to carry this forward, and you never know, one of those 5 can change your life forever. So are we using our network? This is what is doing the basics brilliantly is about. So this is suggestion number 1. Suggestion number 2, this is for this challenge. How many of us feel BNI takes too much time? I have so much to do. I have parents to take care of, I have kids to take care of, I have my business to take care of, and on top of all that, I have BNI to take care of. Okay, it takes too much of time. I want to share with you something very simple which I learned. There was a point in time when I would actually, this is a fact, my day would start at 2:30 a.m. because I was trying to do everything myself, honestly, at 2:30 a.m. When I became a part of BNI, it's not a very proud thing to share, but I don't mind admitting it. I had never used a laptop in my life. I was 46 years old. I came from old school business. We still did billing by writing the bills on a carbon copy, kind of multiple copy kind of book. We still did our, even today you give me a set of numbers, I still am comfortable totaling it just like that instead of using a calculator. So for me, using a computer was a challenge. So to overcome that, I would wake up at 2:30, have a cup of coffee, freshen up and start working at 3. So from 3 to 5, I would catch up. By the end of the week, I'll be exhausted. By 11 a.m. in the morning, I'll be exhausted. Why? Because I was doing everything myself. BNI taught me one thing very powerful, okay? Your dream is as big as your team. So as I grew in BNI, I met this wonderful person. You know, as I started building out my region, I had this lady called Shilpa who joined me. And we worked, and she would work for me. She would take off some of my work. She would start doing things like that. And then at some point, she was expecting a baby. So she told me that in a few months from then, she would need to take a break. So I employed Amreen, who's part of my team. And today, though it was when I was introduced, I'm technically supposed to have retired, but I didn't succeed. This is the 10th country I'm visiting this year. In every month, I'm in a different country. Last week, this time I was in China. I was doing a 5-day training in China. Now, I have this lady now who helps me out, Abhi. She manages my time, she manages my agenda, she manages my work. So are you building that team? When you think of a team, don't think of a big room full of people and you're going to have an office space with a lot of desks and a lot of people working. No, it's just one person or 2 people who can shadow you. We are in Uganda, we are in East Africa. I know that there are challenges in places like Europe or maybe Australia where hiring somebody is very expensive. And it's not that easy. But here, in countries like ours, we have opportunities. And what are we doing? We are giving opportunities for them to grow also. We are practicing giver's gain. I'm very happy that all three of them, they worked for me. Now Shilpa has worked with me for over 15 years. Now I have transitioned, I've retired, she's part of the global support team. Amreen also transitioned, she's part of the global support team. But what I'm very proud of them, all 3 of them have bought their own homes from their earnings. For me, it's inspiring. Sometimes it's worth all this because they're leading better lives. They're able to take better vacations with their families. They're able to afford a 4-wheeler. They were running around on 2-wheelers. Now when it rains, they can drive to office in a car. Now this is on the one hand. On the other hand, they help me. They shadow me. They manage my time. I don't have to do anything. I was National Director of India, and 80% of my work was being done by Amreen, who's on the left. She's my favorite. I mean, she's there all time. She knows exactly how I think. She shadows me. So are we building a team whom we can delegate to? After that, now I don't need to work those crazy hours. I do travel a lot, but a lot of my work is managed by them. Managed by Abhi and by Abhi. Now, Abhi is one person who shadows me, and now I've appointed another girl. So like that, are we building a team? This is only basic. While on the one hand, it's going to help you scale up your business. But start thinking, many times I used to think earlier when I was in the gifting business that let me grow a little bit, I cannot afford it now. Let me start growing my team later, but it never really happened in the way it should. BNI taught me the power of having a team and how useful it can be. So the second thing, if you feel that BNI takes too much of time or your work is taking up your time, you don't have time for your family, it's time you started thinking of how you can delegate. I'm not going into the details now, but you can figure out how best you can delegate. So that's suggestion number 2. Suggestion number 3, I don't know how to go about this. Okay, all this sounds nice. I heard this speaker, he came all the way from India, and he said that I need to build a team, I need to work my network. I don't know, I have no clue where to start. BNI offers you some of the best world-class trainings. Knowledge is power. It offers you that. And this morning when Murali was talking about the kind of, the trainings that can be offered, are we really using these trainings? Are we turning up there? Are we turning up there multiple times? How many of you have done the Member Success Program, MSP? I guess everybody in the room. How many of you have gone for it to a second time, or the third time, or the 5th time, or the 10th time? Keep going back. Keep going back. I can assure you this, every time you attend a training, you can learn something. You can definitely learn something. And Dr. Meisner was talking about it. Hundreds of conferences he's attended, but every time you can learn something. So are you repeating your trainings? Are you going there? Because every time it could be a new angle. See, when we are new, we go to the MSP because it says that it's mandatory, we have to go. At that time, my mind is working on how am I going to do my weekly presentation? How am I going to invite visitors? We learn that. But going forward, after some time, we go back after a year, we are very good at that. But then we're going to later learn, my mind will start grasping how to do a one-to-one properly, how to build relationships properly. So you will definitely learn something more within and outside of BNI. It's not just within BNI trainings. The pandemic gave us one thing. Now, ton load of some of the world-class trainers are available online. I'm talking about people like Robin Sharma, like Anthony Robbins. Their trainings, their courses are available online. Sign up for those courses. Keep scaling yourself up because that's where you're going to learn. And like how Dr. Meisner says, success is the uncommon application of common knowledge. Do the basics brilliantly. Are we really using that? Are we leveraging the knowledge that we take back? Am I just attending a training to tick the checkbox that I've done this? Is there one suggestion which I learned in the training or 2 suggestions which I have started implementing? So it's about the uncommon application of common knowledge. That's what's going to take you forward. That's suggestion number 3, is how much we're going to scale ourselves up. How many of us, now guys, I'd like you to be honest. This is an interactive thing, okay? How many of us, they feel that there are too many things to do? Okay? Looks like all of us are very free. Okay, now I can see a few hands, few of us are being honest. This happens to all of us. As I told you, at one time I thought 24 hours a day. Check, yeah. I thought 24 hours a day is not enough for me. So I thought, that there are too many things to do. I just cannot catch up. Very simple. Plan your time. Okay? The secret of your success lies in your daily routine. There are a number of planning tools. There are a number of short courses that you can attend, which can help you how to plan your day. I'm going to be here doing a training in the next few days. Some of those of you are going to attend. I'm going to be sharing some of those time management techniques, time management tools. How well you plan your day. Have you balanced out your time between your work? I mean, with the different things that you have to do at work, time for your family, time for yourself, things that you need to do, take care of yourself, things like that. So are you planning your day? How well organized are you? Because we get into the rush. So as entrepreneurs, when I was earlier active in other businesses, today I'm meeting a client and suddenly my whole life becomes that client for the next whole week. I forget about everything else. And then I go back and then I realize taxes are to be done, and then payments have to be followed up, and then there is some goods that have to be delivered, some services that are still pending. I'm getting reminders. Then I get into that. And I forget all about this client on whom I spent a week. And then this becomes. So it's something like we are trying to juggle so many things, we don't have time. There are so many time management techniques which you can use. I would strongly suggest, sign up for some of those courses, or if those of you are attending, I'm going to be teaching you some of those tricks on how you can manage your time. But how you plan your time is very important, because by now, if you have traveled this journey, you've worked your network. Go back to the suggestion number 1. You worked your network, you leave here with 5 people, you start following up with them, opportunities come, suddenly work becomes too much, you have a team. The team is supporting you. You empower yourself with skills, knowledge, to scale yourself up. But then suddenly there's too many things to do, so you need to learn how to manage your time. See, it's all these things together. When you tie it all in is when you're going to get that. And finally, my final suggestion before I wrap up today is the most important of all. This is for the people who say, I feel stressed. How many of us here feel stressed at times? Yeah, it's too much. I can't take it anymore. I want to wrap up. I want to give up. I cannot carry on this thing. I think I should quit my membership. This is taking too much of my time. I'm feeling too stressed. There is so many things. The membership committee says that I'm not passing enough referrals. It's telling me I'm not attending enough trainings. We suddenly feel overwhelmed. We have taken up a role, and suddenly there's a visitor day coming up. We feel stressed. Are you taking care of yourself? The most important person in the world, yourself, because if you are well, the rest of it falls into place. You have worked your network, you have built a team, you have gained knowledge, you're managing your time, but all this will not be of any use if you're not taking care of yourself. When I say taking yourself, spiritual, emotional, physical, people ask me, how do I travel so much? I came in here, I reached India, I was in China for about 10 days. I reached there on Tuesday night. On Thursday, I was a flight. I was on a Wednesday night. Just about 48 hours at home, and I was here. And I spent the whole evening yesterday working with the training team to kind of get prepared for the trainings in the coming week. I don't feel tired. I'm not a Superman. I'm just a regular guy in my 60s. But then, somewhere along the line, I learned that I need to take care of myself. I go for a regular walk. I do some things. I spend time I have me time. I meditate. Whichever way you can choose, whichever is your language, whatever. But if you don't take care of yourself, both in all ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to enjoy what you're creating, and neither are you going to be able to do the rest of the 4 suggestions, which I said. So, just to wrap it all up, to be an extraordinary entrepreneur, build your network, build your team. The team is not a big team. Please keep this in mind. None of these things need to be done at an extraordinary scale. To become an extraordinary entrepreneur, you have to do the ordinary things, the basics brilliantly. When you leave here, carry back 5 contacts with whom you want to take forward the relationship. When you leave here, maybe over the weekend, plan out, when am I going to recruit somebody? Fix a deadline. Have somebody. If you already have somebody shadowing you, some of us already have a team. Is it time? Who among that team can I start delegating my work to? Whom can I trust? Okay, the common thing that comes up is they will become my competitors. They will start, competition is going to come. But honestly, I've experienced this. All those team members I've shown, I'm very proud to say that they will be with me for life. I know that. Because for me, they are part of me. They are part of my family. I take care of them. And it's not just financially. Yes, we have to pay them a little bit better than what it is, but how you make them feel. Each of them is an empowered person. They have full ownership. Abhi owns my time. I take permission from her. If I schedule something and if I do something, I'll immediately get a message, what are you trying to do messing with the calendar? You didn't check with me. I have to check with her because I've empowered her to do that. Right? So like that, in fact, sometimes it does have a downside. My family, sometimes my wife, I don't know, I know there are husbands and wives here, but wives have a peculiar way of doing it. My wife comes, if I have to talk to you, I have to check in your calendar and see when I'll find time with you. You have to get those kind of blind sides sometimes, but it's okay, it's worth it. But have a team. Build your team. Number 3, empower yourself. Gain that knowledge. Knowledge is power. But more important than gaining knowledge or going to a class and taking notes on a book which you forget, start taking out the things that you're going to implement. From today, just like carrying back 5 friends with you, of all the things I learned from this morning, from Diana, from Muraguri, from whoever is up here on stage sharing, what am I going to implement? Even if it is just one, you leave here today with one thing you're going to implement, it will change your life. Or two things you're going to implement, whatever it may be. But go back with something that you can actually practically change. So knowledge is power, but uncommon application of common knowledge is very powerful. Discipline yourself, have a team. Have time, plan your time. Let there be things, and everything can be managed. I have managed multiple responsibilities. It is possible to do it if we know how to manage your time and finally take care of yourself, because if you have to do all of the above, you should be in a both, not just physically fit, emotionally, spiritually, and physically in good shape for you to be able to do it. So with this, thank you very much for inviting me here. It was an honor and privilege to be here. And thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I'd like to end with something I like doing. Probably I just get a selfie. Would that be okay?